Oh, that Christmas jazz just puts me in a happy mood. Welcome back, everybody. We got DDK, we got HDZP, and we're about to jump into match number 2 on the night. This is the EU Championship, and DDK, you're coming in at a spicy moment because 5 minutes before we went live, they dropped a patch on our noses.
Why do they keep doing this to us?
For entertainment, to skyrocket our viewership, one of the two, I think. It's helping out.
I thought we weren't not going to get an update in December. Then we got the Christmas update, and then we've had like 2 patches since then in the space of a few days. So I don't really know what to make of this.
Yeah, I'm never going to be disappointed with more updates from a publisher. Thank you very much. Let's take a look here at the patches as we get into this next one. Abrahams will be taking on Leviathan, but ZP, we were wondering, will it slow the game down? Will we go into the 40s? So far, we're on the same schedule, finishing that last one around 35 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't quite get into a game state where we got like the big patron defense, but make no mistake, the second stage patron is way more defensible. A lot of games in the past that got ended by we have rejuves all in the pit. You gotta play them differently now because you gotta take down the other team. And we maybe can hit the patch notes a little bit here for those who have just tuned in because we did start a show, people are filtering in. But the best part about Deadlock right now is that Yoshi comes in and is like, guys, we're doing a small patch. The small patches in Deadlock are bigger than other games' big patches. It's unreal.
There we go. Graphics are up for us. Thank you, Solomon. These are from December 16th. And then, of course, we got more on the 17th. What are the big standouts here, ZP?
Big standouts to me. I mean, obviously, I think the biggest one here is what went down with the shrines, where you now get mega creeps. But what we saw in that last game, especially when you saw, I would say, the holiday souls, killing blows giving more souls and solo and duo kills giving more souls has really changed soul priority. The vitality change maybe made a few heroes lesser priority, some more priority. Clearly for Abrams, didn't really affect him as much as some people may have thought. Didn't see any big bag drops, but they are a lot more possible now with the unsecured soul change.
GDK, let's keep it rolling as we take a look at some of the other changes made. We, of course, have all the item changes, but walk me through the hotfix patch notes first.
Yeah, the initial wall jump, I think this will make a lot of people happy because I feel like we only get movement nerfs. So it's kind of nice to get something given back to us there with the wall jump tech being a little bit easier and requiring a little bit less. And also time delay before the sprint starting to work is kind of nice as well, because obviously this is more punishing, making it less viable for certain heroes to be jungling, and this was something that was really prevalent before, that pretty much everyone could kind of jungle, but that got a little bit more selective. So kind of some more balances there for the rotations to still make it feel like a MOBA. But now I think one thing that's super interesting is this new dynamic with when you're in the pit, and the weekend patron, the final stage patron, is now, I mean, let's face it, if you're in the pit, you're probably going to get absolutely wrecked. So this might save a few seconds before the patron goes down, but at least it's a little bit more defensible when you're actually having that pit fight and you're trying to stall out until someone gets off the respawn, jumps in with the singularity, whatever it might be. So we might see some more clutch plays around that, but I'm not expecting too much.
Thank you, Solomon, for all the updates. We've got more detailed ones coming, but the players are ready. So let's jump into the conversation around our EU final. We got Abrahams returning champions. Now, clearly the top of EU, right? Is there anyone, ZP, that has challenged them for the throne in the last 5-6 weeks?
Not on EU soil. Melee Creeps was able to beat them when they had all sorts of high ping. And I mean, look, overall, I think if Melee Creeps could come to EU, it would be a close one. But across EU versus EU, Abrahams, they are the team to beat. Roster changes don't really matter. ABL out, Hoot back in, and they haven't missed a beat. Abrahams, I mean, what more can you say? This is a team that not only has incredible fundamentals as far as mechanics in lane phase, they generally make good macro decisions, and their hero pool is deep enough that they're not really susceptible to getting banned out. It's just a team that has undisputed dominance, and you take a look at this, ever since Buff Enjoyers have been gone, it has been Abrahams on top.
And it's been 2-0, so DDK, even if they win, I want to see it at least go to a game 3. So let's cheer on Leviathan as they are taking on the reigning champs. First, though, Sonya Sniper together, Saint, you got Taz, who's a ferocious Paradox, D-Mauve, and Hoot. Who's the most dangerous on this squad in your eyes, DDK?
What a question. Yeah, it can really depend on who's playing what. one of the most feared combinations that we have in Deadlock is probably still together on Shiv. So something we talk a lot about. If Shiv is able to be put on together, it's going to be pretty scary. But obviously, you know, Hoot is someone that can play pretty much everything and do it to an exceptional level. Demoff is also someone that recently, I think, more and more people have been starting to credit as maybe the best player in EU. This was straight from ZP's lips. I think in the last couple weeks of broadcasts, and I think it's standing up to the test so far.
Yeah, when I think about Demov, I mean, it's a player where was very notable on buff enjoyers, and I think Demov, the one thing I don't want to see from Abrahams is putting Demov on the W mouse 1 role. Like, I don't like Demov on Wraith. Like, yeah, he was able to make a playmaking play a little while back on it, you know, chasing down, getting the hyperline on to the opposition previously, but Demov is at his best when he's on heroes like Doorman, Viscous, heroes that can get active in the beginning of the game and just make plays out of nothing. More of that from Demov in my mind, less of Demov on Wraith.
Less Wraith, that is the call. Chat was wondering, where is she? We don't know if we're going to see her tonight. We do know we're going to see Empty Dreams pop off. The question is, what character do you let them play? OC's also had a very good game on the Mina, and we'll have to see what Freemock is able to lock in on the front line. Is it together versus Freemock? How do the 1v1s match up, DDK?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think in terms of the 1v1s, you know, as opposed to me picking like an Oberkim in more of a supportive role, I'd be probably thinking more Empty Dreams and OCs who tend to be on more playmaking roles or carry roles where the resources are kind of funneled into them. We just saw that OCs had a really, really strong Mina game in that previous matchup, and OCs is previously known for playing those M1 carries really well and being maybe the best farmer in the game, but it seems like some of those heroes like the Ivy got nerfed a little bit, so we're seeing somewhat of a pivot into more of a Mina, so that's definitely a big standout. Empty Dreams obviously could go a lot of different ways. I think Infernus is still pretty good, so we'll see kind of where it falls with respect to that, but I do like Flammables. Picture being McGinnis. I hope we see McGinnis secretly. I feel like it's viable.
Will this be the first game with a homeless Viper?
I hope.
That's
I honestly, I hope. The Homeless Viper, I mean, the problem is this is where I think NA actually may be a little bit ahead of EU, is that NA is way more into roaming, taking advantage of box spawns and going from there. EU, at least in our best of one, it was a little bit more gentlemanly. We did not have the roaming that we saw in the Death Slam Invitational overall, but Abrahams, they kind of adapted to the ways of NA during that tournament. They were going out of their way to roam just as much as the NA teams, so I think Abrahams may look to get a little bit more active than we saw Lowkey W get in the last game.
There we have it. It's time for your draft. I am out. DDK, ZP, mics are hot.
He's gone, and he's gone.
He's left us. But Abrahams,
what are we going to see here, CP? What's your read on how people have interpreted the patch of the last week, basically?
Well, Amber was seen, first pick was seen as the priority in DSI. Leviathan, they had the choice of first or second pick here, and they say, Abrahams, go ahead, have first pick. Abrahams, they first banned Mina after seeing the last game and say, no, we don't want to deal with OCs on Mina, put OCs on something that's going to take longer to farm instead. So that in and of itself is interesting. Second pick, though, continuing to ban Billy. I do think that is the proper play. I think the nerfs that came to Billy still not enough to really limit his status, where he was the king in recent competition. Just people realize he's a top. But what I want to know here, Dan, is does Abrahams go for Shiv or do they go for Geist? And instead they go Doorman. So the Doorman prio even higher. I actually think that may have been the best pick they could have done.
Yeah, I love it. I think we speculated on this last week, actually, where Doorman's so unique and he provides so much shutdown utility where he can just ult somebody out of the picture if it's a Warden especially. Just even Warden becomes a little bit more unpickable now. It's just super nice. The doors, obviously, with the objective util is super strong. So really cool to see. I'm curious where Abrams is going to be too, ZP, because Abrams seems really, really good right now. And obviously... Shiv, Abrams, I'm not sure, where the relative strength is going to be, but there you go. It's actually allowing Abrahams, if they want the together Shiv, they can have it.
Yeah, they can grab Shiv. I mean, Shiv did get hit with more nerfs, so I do wonder if, at least clearly in the eyes of Leviathan, maybe it's part comfort, but Freemock is really good on both Abrams and Shiv, so if Freemock is opting for the Abrams, it may be that in the EU meta, the Abrams is better, but that is wild. On one hand, this is getting rid of the possibility of Empty Dreams, for example, coming in on the pocket. But okay, we'll see if the Shiv comes in. I still think Shiv is coming in because if they full on don't go Shiv, that would be a change for Abraham. It's also kind of a change in how Shiv himself is getting valued. But okay, Shiv still comes in. You still need a front line, and he was one of the only frontliners left.
It's interesting because I could still see a place for an Infernus as well. I do think Infernus is particularly nice. I think it has some of its util, like let's say the afterburn, the way that it reduces spirit damage. It's just something that's just always kind of good, especially against the high damage of Pocket. It'd be kind of nice to have that to match up there, or to deal with Shiv and get that bone on him. But we get the Viscous instead, which is kind of nice. I never want to have that available for Demoth, but in general, obviously provides some great save for the killing blows.
Yeah, I mean, players right now, I think, are in a little bit of an overreaction to the Infernus nerfs, because Infernus did get picked over the weekend. DMB was able to play it, and it still looked really good. Like, yes, Infernus loses a little bit of lane presence. Sure, whatever. There was an extra patch on top of it, though, so like the burn is going to do even less damage with the spirit nerfs. So people still may be a little bit allergic to it overall. Abrahams, though, they decide, okay, we're going to get rid of the Page. We don't want you to have the Page Abrams lane. We'll see what Leviathan goes for support. Kelvin has been a little bit less popular in EU overall, was very popular over in NA. They grabbed the Viscous, though, so maybe they feel they're okay in terms of things on the support end. And okay, they just go for Vindicta, which, by the way, gets it out of the hands of Saint, who absolutely would have picked it.
Yeah, I like to see the Vindicta. Now, I'm really curious what the following picks are going to be, because we've already got like an interesting spot where, you know, some of the biggest DPSs are kind of gone. Okay, Warden comes in. It makes sense. You know, you allow it for yourself because you've got the Doorman. So I like to see that. I wonder with the Affliction and Doorman ult, the Warden ult, I wonder if Sinclair becomes something that Leviathan might start to think about.
Yeah, I mean, Sinclair, anytime there's a Pocket on the field, I mean, cloned Affliction is one of the better options you have. Also, it is EU versus EU. Oh, okay. Now Kelvin's there. Yeah, actually, I think 100% Sinclair would make a lot of sense for either of the next two picks here for Leviathan, because you have great options. Not so much the Warden ult, but, you know, with Pocket and Kelvin available, that gives you a lot of reliable power that you can grab on Sinclair. They grab Lash as one. We'll see if they finish out Sinclair. If they do finish out Sinclair, they're a little bit weak on general carry damage. Like, I do think Leviathan, as good as the Sinclair may be, probably want to get something more in the realm of an IV, you know, if Warden with is available, which it's not, something along those lines. And oh, they go Viper, which is, by the way, all in on the early game. This is all like a balls to the wall, just early the mid game plan coming in from Leviathan.
Okay. Well, I mean, the thing about it is that Abrahams have a pretty nice comp to, I think, fight a fast tempo type of game with, you know, the stall that you get from Kelvin. Calico added in there as well, I think, is kind of nice. I think Calico obviously can be really strong with those really like low cooldowns in lane. So yeah, it's you know, there is competition for that tempo that Leviathan are going to be banking on, I think, ZP.
This is interesting. I mean, Leviathan, they have to bully the early to mid game here. There's no other way. I mean, Abrahams, I think in the long game, they got Doorman. They're going to have advantage on any earned fight where they're able to get earned. Bigger team fights. I mean, you got Doorman, Kelvin, like your earned fight is obscene. Leviathan only gets earns here, Dan, if they just get a lot of early ganks, a lot of early lane pressure, and never let off the gas. Because if this game slows down at all, I think Abraham's draft just wins.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out. I do think Viper is really awesome, and I think, you know, we've really started to see, I think EU especially, really begin to show us, okay, there's obviously a lot of success behind the scenes. And here we go. We're going to be getting into the match, Abrahams and Leviathan. This is the first map of the best of three here for the money match for the EU segments here at the night shift, and for our, I suppose, our Christmas show, right?
Yeah, the Christmas show and final money match of the year.
Put your presents in the chat for ZP and HD.
And Puckett. We're up in Puckett's camera focus, by the way. We're figuring out how to do it. He's at the same camera. Puckett can be just as an HD, Dan. We have the technology.
ZP, I wish you could see my camera right now.
What's it looking like?
Switched it. It's a ribeye.
Oh, I'm jealous. But Dan, it's not just the ribeye that's cooking. You take a look here at the lanes, and Viper is out. And, you know, Viper was pretty explosive over the weekend. We'll see if she's going to be able to do that here in EU.
Yeah, the Screwjab Dagger can absolutely own people in lanes, especially if you get nice setups around it. You can get like maximum damage right off the connection. So it can really surprise you, I feel like. And it might be something that people are still getting used to playing against. Maybe not at this level. Maybe at this level, there's a lot of reps at this point that it seems are getting against the good Viper players. But it's definitely scary. And like you say, so much of the focus is on this. It's very high tempo. Viper kind of has to be really successful in the lane. And being up against the Warden Calico, do you feel like it's a good lane for the Viper?
I mean, I think almost any game lane is a good lane for Viper early on. I mean, I don't think Lash is necessarily the best lane partner, though it is the canonical pairing, as it were. I mean, it's a bit of a frisky lane partner. It's how you get Viper eating for two, as it were. But I think what people may be a little bit confused about, I saw quickly in chat, people going, what do you mean Viper isn't late game? No, at the pro level, people don't play Viper as a late game gun carry. They play Viper as an all-in spirit menace over the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. Like, you go all in on spirit, and that's where Viper gets a lot of her power at the pro play at the moment. So it may be a little bit different from your expectations on the whole.
And so for that reason, it's very important that Abraham has managed to keep this lane in check. Because a huge win condition here is that this Viper has a strong laning phase, but Warden is really strong in lane. It's going to be very hard to kill Warden and a Kelvin. That's a very difficult combo to actually kill. You know, they might not dominate the lane super hard in terms of taking the tower down, but you getting ground against them, getting kills against them and setups like that, it's going to be very difficult because, you'll be able to, the Binding Word is going to send you away. The heals from the Kelvin, the Ice Beam as well is going to slow you down. Like, it's just going to be such a consistent threat, and it's too tanky, I feel like.
I think the interesting part here is how the lane is going to go as we get a little bit deeper. Like, we're past the 2-minute mark here, and you want to pay a little bit attention into the roaming, where Abraham's is a lot more into roaming here, where they're actually feeding a lot of farms together via the mid. And take a look at Tass. Tass may be looking for a little bite of the apple here on the right-hand side. Like, you've gone on this very long box run, and teams weren't as good at the beginning of DSI of going in on ganks, but they're a little bit better later on. But so far, Tass hasn't really been worrying about going for a gank. He's just been on the full absorb every box, feed farm into together in the mid lane.
I do love to see the classic combo of Abrams paired with Vindicta. We've got Freemark and Obi Kim on that for Leviathan as well. So I do like what they have here overall in terms of the setup. I think it does definitely complements the players, really well. I don't know that I've seen Flammable on a Viscous too often, though.
Yeah, I mean, it goes a little bit far back. I mean, Flammable has been on more supporty things over time. There was a point where he used to be on Kelvin quite a bit. But right now, a little bit back and forth here in the right-hand side. Dive in once more from overseas and doesn't quite connect. Again, I feel like I look at Lash, and Lash's ability to actually catch people midair with ground strike seems weird. I mean, it's going off of Obikim and just what we saw from overseas, but it doesn't seem to have the hitbox it did pre-patch, and oh my god, that's Puckett cutting a ribeye. Wait, where's the pick?
Dude, is that medium? Are you an absolute savage?
Where's the rareness
you
in
guys
here? Was this
talked...
Go ahead.
You guys talked way too long. It's overcooked, guys.
Yeah, that's actually very sad.
Yeah, I was looking for it, but also, so was Taz, who made his way back into mid lane and was able to get the pick. But yeah, I mean, overall, for Leviathan, I feel like this is kind of a win for Abrams. Like, the comp that Leviathan has gone needs a bit of chaos sub 10 minutes, and this has been a very grounded Viper game that has been losing lane, in fact, to the Warden Kelvin. But we got mid buffs coming up here in just a moment, Dan. We'll see just how contested they are.
I'm still feeling bad that Puckett overcooked his steak. Everyone needs to take a moment of silence for Puckett and his ribeye.
There's gonna be some people in chat be like, no, it's fine. Like, you can't have it be rare. Like, the cow shouldn't be mooing as you eat it or thereabouts. But
those people don't know how to eat steaks, EP. Those people are uncultured and must be dealt with.
Look, I agree. I mean, we can set off the Civil War chat right now between how people eat their steak. But in any case, right now, I think if you're looking at Abrahams is kind of liking this game state flow here so far, Dan.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's overall it's been pretty even, I think, across all lanes. The Kelvin Warden lane, I think, is having the most success so far of any combo, of any duo. And we indeed get to see the Together Shiv this game, so Together does not care about the nerfs.
I think when it comes to Shiv, until you see Shiv not be viable, assume he's viable. But at some point, all these 5%, 10%, etc. nerfs are going to hit a point where it's like, damn, Shiv actually not that good anymore. Left-hand side, though, maybe getting a little bit friskier, at least looking at the mini-map. But looking at the health bars, relatively quiet. I mean, the problem is that Empty Dreams Overseas has been working at a health deficit the entire time. Dome comes in. It's going to be enough to take down Lash. Lash not looking particularly healthy. No way out of the Dome. Guardian maybe soon to fall. And you take a look here. Sanya wants a little bit more. Send Empty Dreams. You know, where are you going to go to here? They could just focus down the Guardian, but why not get the Guardian and a Lizard on top?
Yeah, that Lizard is still fighting. Oh, there's got to be really careful when you're up against the Viper, but yeah, really good and strong start on that left side there for the Abrams Kelvin combo of Abrahams. But a lot more work to be done here as we see the action in middle now, and it's Leviathan that are pretty defensive here as well. So Leviathan definitely having just being a little bit worse off, but not really, I think, too notably, I wouldn't say, ZP.
Yeah, I honestly, as I look at it, okay, Empty Dreams on the board finally gets one over on the Saint, but I don't know. I look at this. Are they gonna be able to get killing here? You get the dive in coming in from Empty Dreams into the back. It's looking reasonable here. Looking into Warden, get Sanya towards the very end. So kind of a big mistake, I actually think, for Leviathan to stay in lane low enough to give the opportunity to Abrahams there, because you get punished giving up kills now. And Dan, like the amount of souls you give up for lane kills is a lot higher this patch.
Which I think is probably a good thing, actually. I know, what do you sound on it?
I think it's good. I think many people argued that the lane phase, actually dying in lane, wasn't that impactful last patch. I mean, it was impactful. You didn't want to die. It could set you on the path to losing, but now there's a lot more sting as far as how far ahead your opponents go if you do give up a kill.
Well, I think that's going to ultimately make the game more high quality in matchmaking, actually, because I feel like people are a little bit too easy going in lane phase sometimes. So it's good to have it be a bit more punishing. But the oof, yeah, there we go. The cloak is going to get you out of trouble if you are Hoots. Pretty exciting prospect. We haven't spoken about Hoots so far in this matchup as the chase down commences and the hitting right is cancelled. Do we get much more? We do get a snipe. Ooh, nice connection over him. Can he get another angle? Okay, he's going to be intercepted, cut off from line of sight. So Hoot will be safe for now. And oh my god, straight into the hotel. That is not exactly what you wanted, I don't think, if you are Overkim. He's in a lot of trouble here coming out of that hotel. There's the call bell, and that will take him out. So, well played by Abrahams to catch that kill.
Leviathan, they're trying to make up a little bit of ground in the middle after that fight. Middle Guardian looking a little bit low. Not quite done here just yet as Together comes back out in the lane. Backed up by Kelvin. The old lane duo reunited, and oh, Flammable just runs over Saint. Parries. Not going to be enough here as Obikim comes in, finishes off Together from the sky, and that pressure is going to be enough to take down the mid Guardian, where we didn't even talk about it here, Dan, but you didn't get the Shiv Kelvin lane. Like, that synergy, they looked at it as like, nope, we're not actually going to do that.
That's a great point, actually. We didn't actually mention that. That's so interesting. That's something that used to be such an obvious narrative has now kind of just disappeared. But now we're excited to get into that mid game now, ZP.
Yeah, I mean, Tess keeps doing this off camera. Tess in his roaming has been really effective. May get punished here by Abrams. Tries to throw out the door, ends up getting hit by the stun and Death Slam when you really want to take down two. Down goes overseas thereafter. 300 damage, or 300 health left for Tess, and the Falter's not going to be there. Fremont got a little bit too low, and the knives tick down to finish him off.
Together doing his best work. He might be in some trouble. Look at the movement tech, though, still as strong as ever. And in the right hands, it is so difficult to catch a Shiv. So Together escaping when many a Shiv otherwise would have died. And now the urn is being run across the map. Now, the control is contested on that lane on the right side for the drop-off. So we'll see how the balance is in terms of numbers. 3 against 3 at the moment, at least in terms of the players in the area.
If you're Leviathan, you have to look for a trade anywhere. Like, actually anywhere. Like, take down Left Guardian. You don't want to fight Doorman, Kelvin, and Urn. Like, this is just... If you fight here and win, Godspeed to you. But Abrahams on paper has such a better Urn setup here. Just from the ability to set up via doors. I mean, yeah, you're getting pressured by Geist, but you can go there with door, you can dome. It should be pretty simple. Kelvin, gonna walk on through. Urn carrier, no dome required, just door. Abrahams first turn of the game to them, and they get Overseas, who was poking a little bit too hard, and then the fall through, they drop the dome, and Abraham's just punishing people that probably shouldn't have been here in the first place, Dan.
Yeah, really nice cleanup there from Abrahams. And Leviathan before this fight were a couple thousand souls ahead, but they are getting totally wiped out. So this is a terrible scenario. The only thing that they have going on at the moment is Empty Dreams on the Viper in a 1v1 on the left side lane, which he needs to be able to win, but he's not able to. Has to fall back, and in the meantime, Abrahams are taking everything. They're ransacking the place. They take down the Guardian. There's still one more Guardian in mid for them to be concerned about. But more kills, getting chased down. And this is not a good look here for Leviathan. They're really starting to struggle here into this mid game.
It doesn't get any better for them either. I mean, the comp they went for here, Dan, was a comp that really needed to get significant power out of lane phase. I mean, you're already starting to get out of Viper's ideal power spike when you're playing more of a Spirit Viper. And Abraham's, you look at who they're funneling farm into here. Sanya's at 13k. This is going to be a very scary gun warden as the game goes on. So, for Leviathan, it may look like, oh, you're just a little bit behind. No, this is massively behind, given the comps at play. And Leviathan doesn't really have a lot of time to make something happen. You see Calico now, D-Mob, diving in on the Empty Dreams. Just drops the Return the Shadow, and even if it doesn't result in a kill, is gonna force Empty Dreams a little bit further back and, limit some of the playmaking mobility that Empty Dreams might have been looking for.
This mid tower's actually managed to survive for quite a long period of time. Looks like it might get dealt with finally, but actually the defense is looking robust. So we'll be deterred for now. Vindicta to get a slight nerf to the damage on the Assassinate, but I feel like it's not really all that... It's not that notable though. Like minus 10 damage or something.
Yeah, Vindicta is still very, very good right now, as an old alarm just suddenly goes off. But yeah, I mean, Vindicta is strong at the moment, but I also think the strength of picking Vindicta here is that you keep it out of the hands of Saint. Like, I actually think you've seen enough footage that you don't want that, but Cage coming down here on the Geist, Sanya, able to land it now, going around. There is soul swap up here, so you have to be a little bit careful, especially when you got Abrams here falling through. Not easy to finish the Geist here in the current setup, and now it's a little bit of running for Sanya. Flammable punishes D-Mob other side of the map while this goes on.
Yeah, big fight here. Really important one for Leviathan to find value. Here's a chase down onto the ward, and he's got nowhere to go, but there's somewhere to go, I suppose, inside the Kelvin Dome. It's going to allow him to survive a little bit longer. The parry's coming on in, allowing that heal to do its work, but it ultimately is not enough. And in fact, everybody in the Dome actually surviving on Leviathan's side, but here comes the door. And that's going to peel one away from the fight here, making the numbers, the equation now feeling much better for Abrahams on the cleanup. And out comes Abrams into the coldness, the cold winter of the Shiv Knife Doorman combo, and he can't really survive that, so he will die of exposure. And once again, you've got a solid lead here for Abrahams. The chase down coming in, but I don't know that there's enough here to stop, or rather I should say take down together.
No, and I mean, they're able to use the door to make the escape even better. Where one bit of tech here that, people may not be entirely aware of is, you may be wondering, it's like, hey, why are you parrying coming out of the hotel? There's interactions where if you parry, the cart is not going to drive you. Like, you'll take damage from the cart, but you're not going to get thrown into the wall, thrown into a bad spot. That's why you see, Fremont come out here. It's just like, all right, I'm just going to parry on exit. But Vitality buff going over the together. Things going to a little bit of a worse scenario here for Leviathan. A mobility on the Geist. Sometimes you just lose the RNG there, Dan. 50-50 and what was going to spawn between the two spots, and Abraham's getting the better end of it for sure.
And this is nasty. In comes... Ooh. In comes the pocket. Hoot is not messing around. He's pretty well farmed up, at least compared to the rest of Leviathan. Now the fight in the basement. Abrams versus Shiv. A heavyweight battle. But there's the assist off the rope. And at this point, ZP, it feels like... It kind of feels like what you were talking about in the draft about the win condition for Leviathan's kind of... It really has come and gone. They didn't do enough in that early timing of the game. And although Empty Dreams will do what he can by himself, it really has felt like Viper hasn't had impact in the game so far.
I mean, the early lane didn't go well enough. There wasn't enough of attempt to roam. And, I mean, now you take a look at the overall comp. Like, who in God's name is going to be dealing with Sanya's Sniper? how are you going to deal with most of your team is going to just dissolve if you get hit with Hoot on an affliction? The people that need farm on Abrahams generally have it. I mean, together could stand to be a little bit richer, but the actual team fight scenario for Leviathan is really, really unfortunate right now. And we'll see if they're able to make something out of nothing right now. A little bit of poke here on the Taz, but I think Taz has door up, so he should just be able to get out.
There might be a world where Empty Dreams' DPS, you know, is enough that they can maybe make something happen somewhere. But I feel like that has to be in skirmish scenarios where I don't know that they would be able to very easily catch Abrahams. But with that said, the urn has been grabbed and dropped. Is it dropped? Yes, it's been dropped by Abrahams. And Abrahams are in, I mean, not a massive lead. It's only a 10k lead, so it can be squandered.
I think the key for Abrahams, though, is that Abrahams doesn't really need to make anything happen. They just need to play the game, take jungle, look for picks where they come out, and they're fine with this going late. Like, by all rights, as far as scaling goes, Abrahams is going to do better in a late game versus late game fight. So they don't need, even with Doorman Kelvin, which is very advantageous urn-wise, they don't have to do anything too risky to turn in the urn in the enemy's comeback urn spot. They cannot give up the comeback urn because comeback urns are even better this patch. But you know, for Abrahams, you're fine with this being a little bit slower because you want this to go late anyways.
If it does go late, it will be interesting. I mean, OC's on the Geist. If OC's can stay competitive on the farm with the leaders on Abrahams, I mean, the late game Geist can be really nice still. So, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if it even gets to that point.
Like, for now, she might be getting taxed a little bit more with the changes. Like, she actually does damage to herself in the late game with the changes they put in, both with bomb and otherwise. But wait, Saint just got picked. Saint actually just got caught out as Overseas comes on in, lands a death slam. Isn't fall through going to be here? The door comes on out. Attempt to save as Flammable just shoves in with the goo ball together. Super low, can't get to the door to get saved. 2 pickoffs now for Leviathan. This is the sort of play they needed if they're going to get back in the game. But is the fall through going to be enough? We see the Baroness Hotel be used here on the Freemock. D-Mob finds Flammable towards the end. Now it's Abrahams that have fully evened this up, and Freemock looking to retreat away. Meanwhile, D-Mob in hot pursuit, taking a look at Overseas. Overseas in on the rooftops, ground strike to try and make a little bit of room, get into the subway. But you got D-Mob right hot on his heels, takes him on out, and Abraham's able to turn what could have been a bad fight into quite a good one.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. If I was just thinking, if Leviathan could have disengaged and maintained the advantage, they fall back onto mid-boss, but instead you can see their opponents are in a spot right now where they're going to be on the mid-boss duty, and that mid-boss is going to go down very, very quickly. Very quickly indeed. Why is his eyeball so pixelated? That's what I want to know. So, like, weirdly pixelated. Let's get some better graphics, some higher fidelity.
I thought you were going to say, let's get some analysis on that. I'd be like, well, he probably comes in from an alternate dimension, whatever brought all this stuff in the Deadlock universe, and, you know, not all the eye actually got there.
Is the alternate dimension Minecraft, CP? Because I can see the pixels.
Hey, look, that Minecraft X Deadlock collab in 2032 where you get the Steve skin, it's going to be great. Like, don't you worry, Dan.
All right, okay, well, you know what? It's not even beta, so I'll shut up for now.
Well, all in all, 123k, the 109k, Abrahams with a full set of rejuves ready for them to use on the next push. Things pretty tough. I mean, even defending this urn is, under the best of circumstances with no rejuves, is difficult against Doorman Kelvin. Whereas in this instance for Leviathan, I don't think you want to touch this at all.
No, definitely not. Massive map pressure overall coming in from Abrahams on this. Just on the map in general at the moment. They've got the urn threatening the drop-off, forcing the rotation from Leviathan. They've got to respect it. That just gives more time for the map to be cleaned up here. Sanya Sniper is just having his way with the Leviathan jungle on the left side.
Kind of interesting. Look at the items and how things are going. Kelvin's favoring larger domes nowadays. Arcane Surge back in. Arcane Surge, very controversial item at times. People just like, yeah, I don't know if I love this item. it tends to be a little bit buggy, but in this instance, Doorman going for the turn in, and it's just very light opposition from Leviathan because you just can't commit to a fight. You lose straight up even without the rejuves, but Hoot overdives a little bit here. You may be able to punch this. This would be huge if you could actually stop Hoot from getting away. Hoot goes in the briefcase, but there is the save from Taz. Luggage cart, able to buy some space, remove most of that mistake.
Yeah, the card is actually so good. So good. Oh my god, OC is escaping very low HP. And the map again being suffocated. Not much oxygen remaining. It's been... As the soul left the room. As there's nowhere to go. The map presence is so strong for Abrahams.
It's tough. I mean, I just come back to the idea of win conditions, Dan, and I don't see a lot of ways of getting a winning fight. I mean, you know, you still have some reasonable burst damage on even a late game Spirit Viper, especially one as fed as Empty Dreams, but you know, ideally, I think they need what they had before the start. What could have been the beginning of a good pick is that Saints down at 19k. Like, you can pick off the Kelvin, but you're so reliant on Saint himself making a mistake that Leviathan just kind of has to see through and, you know, find the 1 in a million shot.
Okay, well, we've got oh, we get a charge out. Yes, beautiful stuff there. Well played by by Leviathan, I should say, to secure that kill. So 6v5 now after that one. Now, can they fashion another pick off? That would be pretty incredible in the current position. Doesn't have to be given away by Abrahams. Abrahams have massive map control. They can just keep eating the map if they choose to get further ahead on the souls. But that single Walker is still up there on the mid lane, and that's the hardest one to take down if you are Abrahams. Oh, look at this, the thievery.
You're content to steal a little bit of Gamba here in this situation, especially down one. Also, that was a bit of an ego death from Demov. When you have Rejuve in your Calco, you probably shouldn't die unless you go hilariously out of position. Together, ripped off the rooftop via the charge, but really, it's a token attempt at protecting the Gamba, and they're going to go right back in all likelihood. Someone will. But the Rejuve is gone, and for Leviathan, they are stuck. Down 20k, down 1 walker, but, you know, maintain their mid walkers, so still hoping to find another pickoff, but I don't think you're going to catch Demov out in that sort of position again with no Rejuve. I think, you know, Demov again just overrated how durable he was in the moment.
It felt like they did the best with what they had there to prevent the Rejuve buff from being a problem. So I mean that's totally consumed their efforts over the last few minutes, and now they're in this same predicament where how do they get map control? How do they push out onto the map? Really, it happens off the back of a kill. That might happen there towards the left side. We're on Viper's perspective. Viper making first contact there, falling back off of that fight. There's some teammates to come in to help. And at the same time, most of the team as well is here for Abrahams. And Obikim gets completely caught. I don't know, there's a world where he survives, gets picked apart by his opponents. And that is tragic. Obikim's really nice to have in these team fights. For him to go down first really gives a lot of license for Abrahams to keep the push going.
And they're looking for a little bit more. If they could get 1 or 2 more, you can go into the base, get extra off of it. Flammable kind of low here. Ticking down a bit off the knives together. Senses a little bit of blood in the water. Goes over, finishes off. No killing blow required. Not that it was off cooldown anyways. Slam comes in, but so does the Dome. A little bit of protection as together. Gets healed up nicely in the middle of the Dome. Looking for the punish on the Overseas, who is dancing, and dead. The Dome locking in place for just enough period of time. 4 dead now for Leviathan. And this is where you have to wonder, well, I'd say can you get shrines, but the problem is they have to go back and get Midwalker first. So Midwalker is going to give its life in lieu of what would have been a shrine push if it was still down.
Okay, things just got a whole lot worse.
Yes.
And this Warden is really fat at this point. Imagine if, as Heroes got farmed, relatively like more farmed than other people, their model actually grew, like became fat, and then the ones who are starved actually look emaciated.
I mean, Warden would represent your average cop at that point. As far as fitness standards go, you'd be very large, Dan, at this point. But okay, right now, return the shot from Demov. Demov again just limit testing You don't necessarily need to be this far deep. D-Bob's been the one to make first contact in this situation, but okay. Limit testing is done. Leviathan is back up, but 50,000 or 40,000 souls between the two teams. And you know, when it comes to observing, I just want to look at Sanya's point of view, because I think back to the last fight where Obakim just went down to nothing. We didn't get the best view of it, but I guarantee you it was Sanya just gutting through his HP like it was nothing.
And the problem is as well that Affliction can, like, even if you're kind of winning a situation or something like that, an Affliction can come in and just be game ruining. And it's so much easier for Who, with the rest of his team strong, to pick the perfect moments to get a really nice Affliction that will just completely ruin a fight. So it's, I mean, it's looking very, very difficult. At this point, it requires Abrahams to make mistakes for Leviathan to really get back into the game. Because you can see Leviathan, they've been positionally, if you could see like a heat map, I feel like CP, they've just been stuck in the same parts of the map for the last like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, it's Leviathan is hoping for a positional mistake. They don't have a lot of normal playmaking ability. I mean, you have Death Slam, which of course, ideally you want to save for team fights, but all in all, you're not running something like a Holiday, a Bebop, or a Paradox. You can't look for picks as easily. And when Viper gets picks, again, it's off of positional misplays, but Abrahams have had enough time waiting here. They have Doorman, they have Kelvin, they feel good about mid-boss fights. They're going to make the mid-boss roar. And I'd say it'd be a fake, but instead, they're splitting a little bit. They're still finishing off mid-boss while the others go up. The split here is a little bit risky. You can buy space, but you are giving Leviathan an advantageous fight up top. But can Leviathan get a pick while the rejuve is taken? So far, it looks like no. All rejuve's going the way of Abrahams, and the squad that went up top here, Dan, the delay, did their job.
Although they will lose 2 rejuves almost immediately there. Kelvin Dome comes on through, and oh shit, there's all 3 rejuves actually gone. So doing both at once may backfire slightly, but still, they just need to finish off the fight here. That's all that they need. In comes Shiv, Killing Blow ready to go. Not even, I don't think, can react to how quickly that player died to pop it. And that's 3 players now dead for Leviathan. Unanswered kills. Few players are weakened, but they can heal back up as the push continues. Get that door barrier on through as well, as now we set sights, Abrahams, on to the rest of the objectives in the base. As the full frontal assault now starts to take place, there's nothing really here to deny it. Lash and Viper need to go back, and they can't stagger the deaths anymore. They need to make sure that they don't die here. And I don't know that they can stop the shrines from falling.
You thought it was bad when you were down 40k. How about being down 40k and the other team now has mega creeps on top of it? It's like their first stage patron is going to go down. And, you know, for Leviathan, you can do a little bit of limit testing here if you wanted to, but you know, take a look at how they're positioning. I do wonder if they are going to give a little bit of respect, or rather how Abraham's positioning, if they're going to give a little bit of respect to the second stage patron, because I think pre-patch, Dan, they're all in. Right now, though, they go, maybe we're good, but we'll play this more by the book.
Okay, well, looking at where things stand on the souls, we got a 42k advantage for Leviathan. Wait, no, 52k. Sorry, can't even math correctly. That's pretty sizable. And in comes another fight here. The barrage over the top, floating. Hoots unleashing the burst spirit damage as a pocket does, and it's just nothing to deal with this. Leviathan getting absolutely routed, destroyed. And that's got to be it. That has to be it.
There have options, and it doesn't quite matter. Yeah, you can defend in the mid-boss pit. Abrahams is coming. They are super farm. They have a better scaling comp, and the end of the game is a mere formality at this point, Dan. There's just about no scenario that's going to save Leviathan. Even if you throw 4 people into the pit, or rather into your fountain, probably not going to save you. But overseas, make the attempt anyways. Here we go. The attempt has been made, and the game is about to end.
There we go. Well, the patron does get some resistances if you're in the pit, but like we talked about, there's no way to survive in the pit. No way at all, and that's going to be it. The first map goes the way of Abrahams.
Sanya on a 9 streak to end it. That one finishing under 31 minutes. Abrahams doing what they do. That is win against Leviathan in grand finals. They've been perfect for 4 weeks in a row, looking for 5. Do they finish here? We're going to take a look at some of the numbers first. Did anything go wrong in the draft for Leviathan, or was this simply issues once we got onto the cursed apple, DDK?
I think okay, so this was a draft issue. I don't know if it went wrong for Leviathan. They may have felt like fairly comfortable in the plan from the draft, but that is, I think, ultimately, answering your question where things did go wrong. Ultimately for them here, they had to, as ZP pointed out very early on, they had to win the early laning phase. That was really the main advantage they could have, and they had to tempo off of that, have that advantage, secure it into the mid game, and then keep carrying it forwards. They were not able to do that, and that was their win condition. So they lost.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the highlights, who did you enjoy watching most this time? Was it Together on the Shiv?
I mean, Together had some great moments on Shiv. Anytime you want to look at someone who is just living, no matter what the situation, knowing exactly how far you can dive, it's going to be Together. Personally, I think to me, if I had to give an MVP, probably Tass. Tass was, we talked about the importance of the early game for Leviathan, and part of the reason why the early mid game didn't go well for Leviathan was Tass, any lane Tass was in was generally Tass getting kills. He played the Spirit Doorman to perfection, and then of course, just by virtue of being the Doorman player, anytime you were dealing with the urn later in the game, Tass was just continually putting Abrahams in the right position. I think that is the one draft mistake you could say here is that while yes, Leviathan came in with a comp where a lot of the issue was execution based. They needed better execution when you're playing a comp that set for early in the mid game. Don't give up Doorman. We've seen enough from Abrahams over the last few weeks. You cannot give this team Doorman. It will not end well for you. I mean, again, I think back to the interview we did with John. Is like, guys, if you're up against Abrahams, like, why would you give them this hero? Make them actually play the game of Deadlock. Ban Doorman. Simple as that.
Do you think Paradox is now gone for Taz? Is he a Doorman main now?
If he can get Doorman, yeah.
Yeah, okay, got it. We're going to see what comes up in the next game. We don't have an MVP until the match is over, but let us know who are you enjoying watching right now. DDK, do you need a break?
Yeah, why not? I'll take one.
We'll take it.
You're
We're going to get a glass of water. Sort yourself out. We'll be back. Game number 2. It's a best of 3. We're going to a game 3 for the first time ever. Believe it. It's happening. Deadlock, Night Shift, final episode, 2025. Holiday. Happy holidays, everybody. As we take a look at some of the numbers, Pastry Serpent on YouTube says, I hate this Shiv character and his stupid ass deferred damage. DDK, what's he talking about, and why does Together make people so angry?
Together should make people happy because Together is so beautiful on the character of Shiv. He makes it look artistic, like a gymnast, in fact, with the movement tech.
Yes.
But I get it. Shiv is kind of annoying. He just throws knives at you and it ticks down your health constantly. It's really, but you should dodge better. You should stop being a scrub.
The Shiv Kelvin, still a thing, ZP. We were wondering if it was ever going to go away. It felt like it was gone for maybe 14 days maximum. We see Satan Together rocking it. Meanwhile, Sonya Sniper on the Warden. We see a 9K at the end.
Yeah, and he was not only on a streak, he was also why Obakim hated everything about the last part of the game, where Senya would just look at Obakim and go, you're out of the air now. And Obakim would be back at spawn. It was almost like magic. And also, you think about priority, it wasn't even a Shiv Kelvin lane. They put Saint together with Senya and said, no. We want to make our Warden the best he can be. So with all the changes around meta-wise, nerfs to Spirit, and gun maintaining relatively untouched levels of power, I think Warden has been getting undervalued in the draft. Like, Warden's been getting picked in the back end of the draft. I think you want to pick it on the earlier end of the draft if you can, but also if you're Leviathan, ban Doorman. Just ban
this game. Yes, absolutely. This game finishing under 31 minutes. You see Taz with another pop-off performance. D-Mob able to play the Calico. But I have a question, and we asked it during the break. Abrahams are clearly better, right? We've seen it. We've seen it 4 weeks in a row. But DDK, if tonight is the night to get a game 3, what nerf would it be fair for us to throw at the Abrahams? Because Jax Libido just dropped off 20 gifted subs, and I feel like we got to celebrate with better entertainment than a guaranteed Abrahams victory here. So do you let them do, like, choose your first character? Your third pick in the draft, you maybe give it to them? What do you do to even things up, DDK?
I think, Bucket, you select their draft. There we go.
Oh.
Ooh, there will definitely be a Viper. It'll be a Vindicta.
Okay. I mean, not a bad team so far.
You know, what if we just start with those 2 picks? They get to round out the rest of their team, but I need Viper and Vindicta as pick 1 and 2. Abraham, if you guys are feeling up to the challenge, let us know, because I know our NA squads are not ready to play yet.
NA's not even up yet.
ZP, it's draft time. We'll find out. Do the Abrahams feel weird? Let's get into it.
All right.
One thing, ZP, we didn't really mention necessarily is that the opening doorman pick enabled them to pick Warden, which seems like something they were going to go for, because obviously Warden was pretty dope in that draft for them. So I wonder if we'll get Leviathan actually trying to target doorman with a ban potentially here, or even Warden himself directly.
They have to ban Doorman. I think they were not expecting the first pick Doorman, because usually it's been first pick Shiv, Geist, Billy. Oh, I mean, the problem is though, you still have to ban Billy. Like, this is also Leviathan. Like, this is their own fault. They could go Amber. Like, I don't love purposely taking second pick here, Dan, because if you give up second pick, you're either giving up Billy or Doorman. And Abrahams, this is the same draft we had last game. There's no way that they're going to change what they just did. Of course you go with the Doorman here. Why would you change it?
Yeah, it's so rough because you know, you can't. I mean, you can pick Warden into it. You can do it. It's just that Warden isn't the best pick into Doorman. That's kind of the problem. So they either take the L there, or they just let Abrams get that Warden. They're gonna take the Shiv this time, which makes a lot of sense. But do they get Abrams as well? Because Abrams and Shiv are super high quality, and given that Billy is getting banned, you know, it's a big step off. After that,
I think they Geist. I think Freemock usually plays both the Shiv and the Abrams, and I mean, they may have enough depth for it, but yeah, the Geist comes in. This is a hero pool issue where I don't think they like the idea of splitting up who is otherwise going to be on the Abrams, given that Freemock has been playing both of them. So this is the main change. Now, Abrahams in turn, of course, they're going to pick Abrams. It's going to be what Together ends up picking in turn here. And we'll see what comes out after if they decide to go for the Kelvin a little bit earlier. I don't know if it has like... I think they just like it for the support value, because I think they banned Page last time, didn't they? They like pick Kelvin, ban Page. So they still have the option of doing that again from Abrahams, or at least they have the option to pick the Kelvin. In theory, Leviathan could come back with a Page pick if they do it early, but yeah, they go for Pocket for Hoot.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because I don't feel like there's anything that would have suggested to me like, oh, Pocket's going to be great now. But it's just the fact that Pocket's always kind of good. The Pocket's is always good. And if you got players like Hoot that can play him, it's always going to be a problem. As he has, he's just unique. He's just a unique hero, really. So we get the Viscous in again. So not major changes from the opening picks for either side. It's really just a swap of Shiv and Abrams. This is where things could get different, though. So we get the ban here from Leviathan. What do you think they should target?
They grabbed Vindicta last time. This time around, they decide to take down the Mirage. I think if you're Leviathan, this almost signals to me that I think, or they didn't ban Vindicta last time. I was hoping to win Vindicta, what I'm saying. I think they're still going to take Vindicta out of mid-stage bans, purely because they don't want Saint to have it. That's what makes the most sense to me. I think anytime you give up Vindicta to Saint, bad things happen, especially on EU and EU ping. So I think the Obakim Vindicta probably comes out again. So, I mean, so far, it is a nearly identical draft, with the main exception being Shiv has been prioritized over the Abrams.
What if we're getting Infernus? Like, I still feel like Infernus is being undervalued. It is secure the Kelvin, though. So as a response to the Kelvin, you know, I mean, this is great. They've taken away some important picks, I think, from Abraham so far. Will they still go Warden?
They'll go Vindicta for sure, I'll tell you that, because Saint needs a hero and it's not going to be Kelvin. So they go Warden in the answer to your question. And the next pick is almost certainly going to be Vindicta, because you've taken away Page, which is the other Saint hero. So there's no Kelvin, no Viscous, no Page. If you want Saint to pick something that Saint has usually been on, Vindicta is actually the only thing left. But they go Paradox, so... you know, for Leviathan, even if you're going to put Obakim on the Kelvin, steal the Vin. Do it.
Alash could go pretty nice here again. This is the same position they picked Lash last game. They have the Kelvin this time as well. It's a much better lineup to play Alash, so they're going to get the Lash. It's been interesting seeing that Bebop's kind of disappeared, you know, in favor of Lash recently, and potentially Holiday. Still feel like Holiday is very good, so being sad to see Holiday not get picked up in these last two maps so far. How do you round this out? Can't be Viper.
Suit Empty Dreams plays? No, they go Holiday. They don't go with the Vin, though, and I mean, I'm still trying to think what Saint could play. I mean, maybe there's a world where you put Saint on Paradox, but I mean, it may actually be that, now that I think about it, because you have Doorman. Taz isn't playing both Paradox and Doorman. You could still put D-Mov in on the Paradox. No, D-Mov's going to be on Calico, so yeah, I think this is going to be a Saint Paradox game. It might be, from where it's at. But yeah, I mean, overall, when I look at this draft, this is a more evenly balanced than what we had before. At the very least, by picking Kelvin, you have options to do Earn. I still like the Doorman for Earn over the Kelvin, but it's not as stacked as when you give up both Doorman and Kelvin, where you signal to the world, we never want to fight for Earn ever.
Yeah, this I like this draft a lot better for Leviathan. It definitely has a lot more potency. I'm curious if the Shiv Kelvin will match up. Obviously, Abraham's is the one that had that combo, and they chose last time not to do it. So I'll be curious if Leviathan choose the same routes and split them up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm just trying to think in the back of my head. Like, I don't know if we have the stats available here, but I'm trying to think when the last time we saw Saint playing something outside the main heroes are. Like, I think Paradox is straightforward enough that it's not going to be that big of a deal, but usually, you know, Saint has been in the world of playing Kelvin, playing, you know, more support things, you know, Kelvin, Page, and then, you know, a really good Vindicta, but, you know, it has to be the Paradox here as I'm looking at. Everything else kind of makes sense. You're going to have Demov Calico, you're going to have Sanya Warden, Hoot Pocket, Abrams.
Why can't Saint play the Doorman, ZP? It's time to lock in, ladies and gentlemen. Abrahams versus Leviathan. Is it another hot 2-0? It's time to find out on the mic. Final fight for EU, ZP, and DDK.
Well, Dan, we'll get the answers to that and more as Leviathan fight for their tournament lives in what could be the final map of EU Deadlock here in Deadlock Night Shift for the year.
Let me get a pause. I mean, why not?
Whoa. Saint actually is on the Doorman. What? I did not expect this.
It's support man. Come on, bro.
I mean, look, you absolutely can. You can build Guardian Ward on Doorman. You can make him more supportive. I mean, you can build Doorman however the hell you want right now in actuality. Like, we've seen John is like, you know, real Doorman go gun. EU, a little bit more spirit-based. Saint, maybe a little bit more support-based here, Dan. It is a real possibility.
It is, yeah, it would make more sense. It is interesting, though, because in terms of just like the comment on the gun Doorman, the fact that we don't really have anyone valuing like the gun carries at all is interesting. Like no Ivy, no Infernus, no Wraith, no Haze. No one cares. You ban Mirage and then just no one plays any of the M1s. It's like this is an interesting timeline right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can put, I think where how Sanya's playing it and given Sanya's role, Warden is definitely slotted into M1 mouse carry, but overall, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting how the valuation has gone. And in Infernus' case, unlike DMB, who was willing to play the Infernus over in NA for melee creeps, I think EU is just like, well, he got nerfed and then Spirit got nerfed, so we're not going to mess with Infernus anymore. But taking a look at the lane situation here, it looks like an Abrams Doorman lane in on the left side, and that is terrifying. I mean, cart into charge. Being out of position for a moment could easily lead to your doom over on the left-hand side.
I could really see a late game going quite well for Leviathan, honestly, depending on how they do some of the builds. Just because I feel like the Geist is going to be, in terms of damage output, perhaps one of the most scary characters or heroes in the entire game, in the super late game. So I like generally like how Leviathan's lineup scales from early, mid, and to late. Much better this game.
Yeah, I mean, Leviathan, they have good options throughout the game. Also, you know, in terms of earn contest, yeah, you got Doorman, but you also have Viscous that gives a little bit of trouble to all that is. Oh my goodness, the gun poke here on the Obakim. Remember, Kelvin doesn't have the regen he used to have in lane. Like, that is a huge HP tax from the beginning, and if you're Leviathan, you're not loving how this has gone. And wait, we got lane swaps going here. Take a look what's happening. They're swapping. Kelvin Shiv, I think, yeah, they're gonna go all the way over to the right-hand side here, Dan.
Whoa. It's a huge lane swap. That's like, I mean, we don't, when do we ever see like just a straight up 2-player switch? Usually it's like 1. If
We
at
haven't
all.
seen it. Yeah, and usually it's in NA. NA was the region, whereas Hydra Nation, that was really big on doing the lane swaps. But okay, together, caught out, taken down. First blood over to Leviathan, and the swaps come out as Hoop takes down Freemok in turn.
Yeah, not the best start for Leviathan, but I mean, ultimately, I feel like there's less pressure on the start than, comparatively to the previous map with the previous drop. So, but with that said, I mean, 2.5 minutes. This tower's been taking a lot of damage. It's already 50% HP at under 3 minutes. In this version of Deadlock, that is actually alarming.
That shouldn't happen. That's basically Warden Gang that just hit on your tower without failing. Oh my god, the damage that Sanya just got on Freemok there. I mean, even as Shiv tankiness wise, you shouldn't get that level of uncontested M1 damage as Sanya's laning phase. I mean, it was deadly last time around with Kelvin as his partner, and not really missing a beat here with Hoot. It was able to enable Hoot to just dive in pretty significantly a moment ago.
Ooh, beautiful. Little keg. Straight on your heads. This is why we love to see Holiday. Just the aerial acrobatics. Looking really good. And also the pick here with the Lash and the Holiday is going to be really fun. There's that dive, though, that Abrams is so good at under towers. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Abrams' gun damage gets nerfed or something, because, like you were commenting on it earlier, Abrams has some ridiculous damage from the shotgun. So pretty tight spread, and it does a whole lot of damage. So when you get close quarters, it really starts to get a bit insane. And that's the next item up here.
That's also the second time in the series that someone has eaten a parry because they were just going to parry the Guardian, and someone else just decided to go for a quick melee at the same time. That is brutal. Hoot, though, in on the hunt, looking for flammable, super low HP. Cube already gone. The button is away and gets the parry. Didn't really need the parry there, but hey, why take the extra HP damage? Extra style points for Hoot, and it's not getting any worse across the map here as you see Sanya off to work. Kelvin trying to build a snowman in the tree, but may have bought enough time here to make it a trade, and does.
He was invisible inside the foliage. That is a sick strat. Okay, well, in comes Hoot. And the burst damage here is a problem. Really good stuff there from Hoot. Again, is already off to a phenomenal start. 5k souls. I mean, this is actually really is a pretty crazy start for Hoot. I mean, yeah, overall the souls doesn't look too crazy, but the problem is if Hoot gets ahead, he doesn't slow down. It just accelerates how much further he can get ahead. So be very careful about that.
You know, Abrams, how much would you like to be tied up? We got Lash ult, we got Holiday ult, and Abrams just breaks the bonds. Doesn't really seem to care in this moment. You can displace Abrams all you want. You still need a good chunk of damage to actually make him pay the price. So 2 ults, not a lot to show for it by the end. But also, it's rare to see a Pocket this farmed early on, because Pocket, frankly, is pretty bad in lane relative to where he used to be with the lane changes. Pocket can't build as greedy. He can't, hard go into the Majestic Leap build. So, this is uncharted territory for a Pocket being this far ahead right now in recent times.
Well, it's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse. Yeah, the spirit items here. Mystic Vulnerability. You got the improved spirit already. Yeah, he's going for it right now. So he's already hit that power spike, which is one of the reasons, the 4800 power spike, which is why he's been just sending it around the map and just really trying to abuse that spirit damage as much as possible. And we got Rock Climber, Abrams, doing what he does. Nice slam, but it's not really going to do too much here.
What in the world? The movement,
the
the hotel into the seismic slam, doesn't quite catch, gets a barrel, but the gun damage, it's a bit too much. But the movement tech from overseas just burst out. Not too bad, and I mean, it buys a little bit of space here. I mean, Abrams stuck behind enemy lines. Let's see if Infallible is able to finish it. 120 HP. Big Blue running out of HP up on the top. Looks for the doorman escape. Oh my word. No way he's going to get out here. The splatter off to the right actually didn't hit Dan.
Oh my goodness, the movement is fantastic to watch. Absolutely brilliant escape there from Abrams. Just together. Shiv, Abrams, the movement is going to sublime. It doesn't matter. Absolutely epic stuff. And that's one of the things that really separates players to this level. And considering how much more you get rewarded for these kills early on, it is important that you do not die. So basically converting all of those advantages. And he's back on lane already. They're going to take down this Guardian now. He's just full HP somehow. It feels like faster than it should have been, but whatever.
This is not an ideal start for Leviathan, to state the obvious here, Dan, and where we're at. The one upside that you get here, and I mean, this is maybe ultimate cope when you're losing, of going, guys, it's fine. We're going to get the comeback earned in 2 minutes. That is actually, though, the biggest thing they have to look forward to if they're able to get earn control.
That's a really good point. Okay. Shiv trying to do what he can for Emog. Not even at 4.8k yet. Oh my god, there's Abrams, dude. Town is in town.
It's brutal. You just see together pushing his will across the game. Got slam, and he went to the hotel. That was the Lash that wanted to do a little bit of wrestling, instead got a first-class experience at the Baroness Hotel. Luggage cart doesn't quite hit. Able to jump up and out of the way. But all in all, 1 minute remains till mid buffs and earn come into play.
Yeah, like you said, the comeback gun could really be a great turnaround. They got tools for it, but just look at how incredible the pressure has been from Abrahams. Okay, well, Leviathan will get out of that situation. And a 4k deficit now, so it really has been closed up, this gap. Looking to get back into the action. Still 3 Guardians up, though, for Abrahams. So, of course, they are well ahead in that area. And the fight here in mid is pretty rough. Right there for Leviathan. They're getting pushed. And they are getting taken down. So, I don't know, ZP. Abrahams they can just assert their will on the game here in a way that feels... It feels like it's more than it should be based on the difference of souls.
I mean, you think about who is actually asserting their will. You have an overfed Pocket and an overfed Abrams that can just kind of dive in on lanes at the moment. It is not an ideal situation to be in. And also, you know, for not seeing Saint on Doorman, I'm trying to think if I've ever seen him on Doorman. But, you know, going with TAS Pocket, or rather TAS Paradox, you know, Saint Doorman, it's worked out. I mean, certainly the save on the together looks good, but right now the chase down still happening, and what could have been Sanya just getting away, maybe this time he goes down, but it comes at a cost. I mean, you take down Warden, but you lose 2 in the process.
Quick swap there onto the guy, so he's trying to do what he can. Can he finish off the Paradox? No, not quite. Size a bell on that one. Although an assist, he's coming on through Demov on the Calico. Demov looking to show himself in this game. OC's is the bait. Now tries to get out of the fight. As is there any help here? Again, OC's is looking to chase down that kill. Oh, he's so close to doing it on the Calico. He's continuing the chase here, and he's surely got to have this. He gets a couple of bombs. They're going to whip, though. And a guy still the life drain. Oh, my goodness. What an escape coming on through from OC's. By the skin of his teeth, gets out of that one. But again, it's a huge difference in souls here. That the urn is... is that a neutral urn? Oh, that sucks.
That is neutral urn. Yeah, they got back up. And also, what is that spot? What is that Doorman deck where it's just like, yeah, this Guardian's not going to shoot back? Like, hello? Valve? Get that one on the report list as Flammable runs into the train as Abrams. Urn turn in being attempted here. Empty Dreams just goes for it. Is there going to be a melee in time? They're able to dislodge the urn. Sanya picking up 2, and the urn fast break. Not only do you not get the urn, but you feed the 35% urn bonus over into Sanya Sniper, who is your biggest threat of a late game carry on the other side. I mean, that is a just car crash of events for Leviathan.
This has been a car crash from start to finish. It's actually so ridiculous. Almost a 20k soul difference at the 12-minute mark is a rarity in an EU final. Extremely rare. And they don't have a life to fall back on. Leviathan need to find a way to bring us back. 15k deficit. What do they even do here?
Well, I mean, you play by the basics here. You defend walkers when you can. You hope for Abrahams to make mistakes, but Abrahams is nearly 50% over your net worth at the moment. And the heroes that are farmed, I mean, Together is quite actually the server admin at the moment. You have a 2300 HP Abrams and a patch where Vitality generally got nerfed on characters like Abrams. It is unreal. Demov, dive in, return the shadow. Looking for a little bit of play here onto the Holiday. Holiday, though, slippery, able to make enough space, but it's going to be time out of the action. It's a full back to bases. We should switch gears and see Flammable in the Baroness Hotel. Comes out as a cube, but that's not enough. Baroness service a little bit too good on checkout.
I guess I can be wrong.
Yeah, this is a rough one. And the walkers, I mean, one walker's gone down. 2 walkers are already pretty lit up as well. And I mean, it might just be 1 walker in about 30 seconds. Here comes the assault from Abrahams onto the right walker. Quick lash ult. There's the storm, gets dodged by Demov there. Really well done. Using the dash to get out of that. But the damage continues him. Oppressive force. Just trying to clean up some of these kills. They're so tanky. This Warden is so farmed, 17k. And Sanya Sniper is just indomitable here. He's going to finally get taken down. The Walker is still up as well. It is on a slither of health. So good work there from Leviathan to keep it up for now.
Damn, I'm calling it. That Walker's getting backdoored. That's like so low that backdoor protection isn't a thing. As I said, look at Demov. Demov's like, no. It's going down.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what you do in that situation. Like, you don't sit here and let the 2 HP walkers spite you. You send someone on a stealth mission to take it down. Oh, Taz. Getting roped over and in, drops time wall, looking for the escape, and Freemock says, no. We're at least gonna get that with everything else that's gone wrong. But now you have Warden coming in. Sanya, who is incredibly well farmed, and the only response here, Dan, is to run.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Oh my god, so some fights you can't fight, and look at this. Oh my god, he's gonna probably kill him, isn't he? Which way did he go? Which way did he go? Oh my god, he actually found him. That's criminal. I mean, it is free to check that, so it's smart, but also it didn't work. Oh my god, this is maybe a chance to get some kills onto Abrams, maybe, but no. Together's coming in on the Abrams. He's letting them know who's in charge.
I mean, I'm doing the equations right now, and I feel like Together Sanya could just about 2v6 Leviathan at the moment. That is how ungodly ahead the Abrahams front line is. I mean, this game has turned out to be more of a roll than the last game, with no particular way out here. Demov returned the shadows at the end of the fight, and it's felt like death matching that has been nothing but in Abraham's favor. And at 97k to 83k, I mean, Leviathan cannot fight this on even ground.
Can't waste time.
I don't know what to do, ZP. There's no hope. It feels like there's no hope, at least. The fighting continues. There's just no breathing room. You can't do anything. Abrahams just keep on sending it. I mean, I do love to see it, though, the hyper-aggression.
I'm draining your life. Warden doesn't get reloads, or rather goes for last stand directly in his face. All right. Death Slam in from Lash. Warden still has a quarter of HP, still laying in the damage, but finally goes down. That's about what it takes to take down Warden. It's that level of overcommit. And meanwhile, Earn Control going to go for Abrahams in the wake of Sanya dying.
This is actually recoverable. They've managed to maintain Leviathan at 15k difference. It's a comeback earn, so it can't really be turned in by Abraham, so they can't really exert their advantage to get a neutral earn turn in. So there might be a moment here in the next couple of, like, 2 to 4 minutes where if Leviathan play really well, they might be able to do something. And what on earth is this, Overkin? What are you doing?
Well, you're being sneaky, but also you don't have Dome up for 40 seconds. I think there is an attempt here to maybe just go in, overload, steal urn control, but it's being protected by Saint, who immediately checks in Kelvin to the Baroness. And we'll see. It's just Doorman looking to defend urn right now. Maybe gonna drop the door, go through. We'll see. Hoot, by the way, meanwhile, dies to free mock while we're looking at all this urn shenanigans. So a little bit of sloppiness from Abrahams here as Leviathan, desperately trying to poke and prod, find something to do here. D-Mob gets run right over down Broad Street, and okay. Abraham's making a series of mistakes here, maybe able to pick up a equalizing kill onto the Geist. Dodges the charge, but no HP, no swap, no way! Gets the life drink towards the end together! Doesn't actually get it, gets the biggest parry of his life. Meanwhile, enough to take down Fremont, but the fact that OC's got out of there is unreal stuff.
Oh no, MT Dreams in trouble. There's no escaping that either. Oh, it was such a good spot for Leviathan. They've been doing such good work into maybe getting that urn control, but they've been foiled here. The Dome comes in to, maybe keep the urn in play. I don't know that that's possible at this point. There's a complete overwhelm into this position. Still, though, just running the urn like he's just running with the football. And I don't know if he's going to be able to escape this. There comes the swap on in, and that's going to be the urn picked up now. And it's near the turn-in spot. So you've given it to your opponents now, the turn-in. They were playing for everything, but instead it's the opponents that get it all. It was a nice edge though, ZP. It's a 10k difference. They were so close to stealing the urn away. It all looked possible.
Yeah, and that one parry from Together actually may have swung things there, because I think without that parry, Together just dies, doesn't end up getting kills. OCs gets away, and it may have been even back up, but towards the end, the other sequence that the one where Together did get the parry. Now we'll see if there's a mid-boss contest here. Abrahams wanting to get mid-boss, solidify their advantage. Sanya getting even stronger with the glass cannon by, but Rejuve is coming on down. We'll see what contest is available here for Leviathan. They're looking to go on in. Viscous over. First Rejuve, second Rejuve, Abrahams. All Rejuves their way. They lose Saint in the process, but Leviathan, this is looking absolutely dire. The rest of the team fight very much in Abraham's favor. Very healthy as Leviathan. They look to get away.
There we go. Another huge fight going the way of Abrahams. Looking to chase things down again. It's so hard to deny the Abraham squad. They're trying to get run away. This is not working, is it? You respect the effort. OC's though gets taken down. And there goes that Walker solo kill for the Warden. Sanya sniper on the Warden has this evening been rather good. In comes Fremont looking to try to take down some of these players, but this gets deleted.
The window of opportunity is closed, Dan. It is a little bit... It's stuffy in the room right now. There's not a lot of flow that Leviathan can hope to capture here to get back into this game, as one more time, just jump on the enemy's ice path and charge him to oblivion. Obakim crunched against the wall. It's a 27k Abrams, and you can do whatever you want to do at this point. The gap is just grown to be near impossibly large. Even when Rejuve goes away, Overseas lands a lasso. There's no one pick you can get that suddenly you could fight evenly with the lead that Abrahams has, with the scaling that they have right now, and who has the soul allocation.
Absolute poverty now. Leviathan have nothing. They got nothing. And now the urn is going to be run into the comeback zone. Warden he gets to pull so much aggro just by himself. Sanya Sniper is so dangerous, he can do that. Okay, they're going to take him down. Obviously, there's the Rejuve coming on through, though. And you got to take down Warden again. And here comes the this is really a big problem. They need to burst him down instantly. Oh, they might just get it. He gets around the corner though, but there it is, the Geist Bomb to finish off Sanya's Sniper for now. But there's more problems behind that. Hook coming in on the pocket, massively farmed, looking to deal damage. And there's the Affliction just hiding in the closet. I'm afflicted, but now I'm Torment Pulsed as well. And that's going to be that for Empty Dreams as the fight continues here. Leviathan giving it their everything, but after the Rejuve charges have all expended, it's only one player down overall for Abrahams. There's nothing left for Leviathan to fight for. They got to fall back here.
Yeah, Sanya was really out of position there, and that's like the level of out position you have to be to die as Warden in that position. But Yeah, all in all, last stand when you've gone full gun warden, I actually don't know why Senya bother. Like, if people are actively shooting you, dropping the last stand when you have no scaling on it, and you already had, I think you already had like bullet life steal. I was like, I don't know, maybe just shoot people. Like, you actually hit like a truck in that moment, but ideally, just don't be in that spot to begin with. It was just, you know, you're strong, but you're not invincible. But the problem that they have here, Dan, is that Abraham's is such a convincing lead that you can make mistakes like that here and there and still win the fight because the rest of the team is going to clean things up for you. And that's why the win conditions are so remarkably slim for Leviathan, because they don't just need a mistake. They need like 2 or 3 mistakes in a row, and that just gets them back in the game. That doesn't win them the game.
True. There we go. You can pull Abrams back, but oh, well, he gets caught into the dome. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to deal with an Abrams when he's pinned, imprisoned. Now there's more work to be done here. OC's looking to chase things down, and Leviathan, they're getting a little bit spread apart here. They got to be careful. You need to like really burst that damage, and Warpstone there for a quick evasive maneuver from Taz on the Paradox as we get, again, the skirmishing all over the place here as we focus on OCs back onto the rooftops. His teammates looking to try to isolate some of these kills, but Abraham's falling back away from that one. Despite being 30k ahead, they don't want to give away any more kills. And so with that, there's a little bit of blue on the map now, but only a little bit.
I think there's a world where Abrams may have been able to fight there, just given that Leviathan did burn, most of their impactful ults for that. But also, on the same note, you have such a high advantage. Just go, okay, congratulations on the pick. Together was a little bit far up, and Overseas had like one of the higher distance lassos you're gonna see. Like, that wasn't just a lasso, but the movement was near flawless in terms of the distance that Overseas got. End of it all, if you're Abrahams, you're not losing anything for that pick. So you just back out, go, we'll just wait for Abrams to come back up. You don't have to, worry about much here because mid-boss wasn't up and, Earn wasn't up. So there wasn't much that Leviathan could do to actually take advantage of that pick.
Okay, another abduction. Taz, yes, surgery has been performed and he died on the table. Okay, well, we've got the attempt on trying to lock down a Calico. Not often easy to do. Demov escapes that one. Abraham's losing the initial pick again. They're in a spot now where Leviathan get dangerous because the numbers just have to work out just so. And Leviathan can string this into more kills. So caution has exerted. Booms. There it is. Ground strike coming in from up top there to try to find a potentially weakened, but no, together able to escape into the basement, and the pursuit fails. The follow-up attempt fails. That's why Doorman's so good.
Unbelievable. Together is able to get out there with the peel from Saint. Abraham's though down 2, Leviathan down 2. Here comes Sanya. Maybe going down the stairs. Nope. Going back says, I'm going to wait for this dome to open up. I'll give you the support my team needs. Up, over. But Leviathan to pick off another 2. Abraham's was really, really split at the beginning. This all started with the pickoff on the Taz and the burst on the Demov thereafter. And together, actually lucky to get away. The only downside again for Leviathan is that the timing isn't right. But once more, a max range lasso. Swap down, over right after. But still, it's not enough to kill the Holiday. It is enough to kill Sanya. Leviathan has manufactured an opportunity. It is all come off the back of Overseas just going wild on this Holiday.
And one thing I think maybe a missed trick here is that together he did not collect the urn, and it is a comeback urn. And so this is another opportunity to bring something back here. But look at the minions doing their work here. In there, it's just candle. I don't know. What are these things? Are they candles? What are these little troopers?
Yeah, they do kind of look like candles. I've never actually thought too deeply. They're candles with flags. They're probably, placeholder all in all. But yeah, all the kills that we just saw, it is going to result in an urn. The comeback urn, by the way, is more powerful now. So let's see exactly how much this gives. I mean, Leviathan, if they're able to get another pick from Overseas on the Holiday, I mean, Abrahams could be in the middle of a generational throw. However, the 2 DBs that just got bought, it's pretty good. Like, it's even going to hurt Abraham's ability for Hoot to land a game-changing affliction. So, Leviathan, that urn is what paid for those DBs, Dan.
And OCs is fat. OCs is clinically obese. And this is a problem because we talked about this. The power of Geist into the late game could be pretty potent. at this level of souls now is going to have the Spellslinger build fully online, I would assume. We haven't looked at the build, or at least I haven't looked at it thoroughly myself just yet, but one can only assume that it's going to look very, very strong. But the catch again, this is perfect. Sanya Sniper goes down. That's like the third time that they get the opening pick off the Holiday. That is an epic pick. It's hard to believe Holiday was the final pick in the draft for them.
This is unbelievable. This is the break that they need. Leviathan, they're looking for more. They got Saint here in the corner. They're right now, they want game 3 so incredibly bad. Saint ends up going down. Another pick here for Leviathan. Kicked off by Overseas. Empty Dreams, a little bit deep, ends up falling for it. Abraham's the remainder. They're up, have good HP. Leviathan may have dug a little bit too deep here towards the end. Abraham's coming back out. Together, a little bit low as the front line, but not in danger of dying here so far. So what could have been the opportunity in the mid-boss, again, opened up by Overseas, is now turned into an even fight. But hey, when you're down souls, Dan, you like the even engagements.
What you don't like is having no slots because there's still 3 walkers up almost 30 minutes into the game. This is a huge issue, and I wonder how it will be remedied, because these lanes are just always consistently pushed into the blue side of the map. Oh, the catch there, the hyperline. This is a big problem. The pick attempt here onto the Holiday is looking possible, but able to escape. And in fact, you know what? Holiday in with a vengeance here, looking to try to find the Calico, but in comes the mid-boss, ready to go. Leviathan, they've got 2 players still down here. This might be a chance for Abrahams to really, really make, or put this comeback to bed.
They just want Dimov. They drop the dome, and that is one way to trap a cat. Dimov buys a little time to return the shadow. We'll see if they're able to chase down. No, wait, Dimov actually might have gotten out. Meanwhile, mid-boss is coming on down. We'll see what contest is here. You had half the people chasing Dimov for Leviathan. Now, who's going to be able to get here in on to the rejuve? First crystal to Abrahams. Abrahams collects all 3 as Obakim dies outside domeless. So the overall positioning here may have been a bit of a disaster for Leviathan. They're down another 2. And Abraham's only down 1 rejuve in turn. Here comes together with the rejuve. No worries whatsoever. Ozzy's free mark getting caught on the other end of the pit. And Leviathan, who are looking so promising off the hyper line on the Overseas and the chase on the Dimov, may have made one bad decision too many in the lead up to this mid-boss.
Yeah, the thing is it might still be doable. It depends on how much damage is done here. Obviously, there's 5 players down. Yeah, that's going to be impossible then to stop really the just complete decimation of the entire base. They might be able to prevent the final stage patron from going down, but I don't know that they're doing much more than that, CP. And with that said, you know, there might still be a chance. That was a terrible fight for Leviathan. We know that when they've managed to find the picks, that when they've managed to, you know, sort of have more of a reasonable fight together, it looks a lot more favorable for them.
The one upside for Leviathan is that this is post-patch. It's not pre-patch. If this were pre-patch, Dan, this game would be over. Abrahams would have just mugged the patron where it stood, but they're respecting the damage resistance you can give the patron by diving into the pit. So Leviathan gets another chance at life, but realistically, I think the real danger here is the fact that there's still 2 rejuves up. Leviathan can't get a game-winning advantage, not really, if Abraham sticks together off a lasso, because of course the lassoed person is just going to come back up. So there's a window here where Abrahams, if they can just get a good fight while rejuve is still up, they're going to be able to end things. So Leviathan, it really comes down to down 30k now. Can they survive the next 2 minutes? It's going to be incredibly difficult.
Oh. All right. Gun buff for Abrams is a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. For Leviathan, anyway.
The spirit
You got both buffs. This is a greedy Abrams. This is a Abrams with both mobility and gun. It's just like, I guess, small saving grace. If you're going to get both, at least there's no vitality. Wait. Doesn't bring him for the ride there on the charge, and Cube comes in, still together, will not be denied. Drops on in. The engage is out. The dome is out. Leviathan, we'll see if they're able to turn it. 1 rejuve is down. The Kelvin Dome, a pretty good place to fight in. Here comes the Gooball looking for more disruption. Did Abrahams dig a little bit too deep here? Leviathan, they've had a really good response off this together opening here thus far. Oh. Now do they go pit? All rejuves are down. All Leviathan is still up. If you bring this in the pit, you may lose. Osies, though, gets caught towards the end, so Abraham's not without their pick. But here we go, Dan. We may have our first real post-patch second stage patron fight.
Yeah, you can see this is a delicate situation. OC said the big damage dealer is down and out for the Cal Heroes. The dive into the pit commences, and they're looking to try to finish off this game, but they have to, like you say, they have to deal with the players there. Swap on in. They're coming through from Taz on the Paradox as all the kills are starting to happen. Infallible is down. OC's is down. The Patron is about to be down, and that's it. Abrahams pick up the final night shift trophy of 2025.
What a way to cap off the year. Sonya, Sniper, Together, Saint, Taz, Demov, and Hoot getting the job done. Hoot seems to be smiling a lot these days, and ZP, I would too, playing alongside these five. Can you walk me through the plays, though? Because chat was saying they're trying to throw. Did you see any signs of throwing in the second half?
Yeah, I think Abrahams, there was a point where they looked at the farm, they realized we are so far ahead we can't lose, but even Abrams, even Warden, if you go a little bit too deep, you can in fact put yourself in a spot where you could lose, although, good lord, the early game, that is one of the filthiest door escapes I have seen in all my time watching Deadlock. But I mean, pure and simple, Together and Sanya had multiple moments where they were just too deep on the map. They were disrespecting what Overseas could do with the lasso, and Overseas, I mean, we need to take a look at that man's back because it has to be broken with the amount of work Overseas did to keep Leviathan in this game.
DDK, we were wondering what the hell is Saint doing on Doorman? Was it support man? Was it gunman? What did you see?
Honestly, I don't remember what his build was, but he definitely did a great job of supporting the team, getting the key ultimates to kind of tip the favor in terms of numbers on the fights, as well as, you know, as we saw, like providing the doors for escape for the utility and positional purposes. So yeah, Saint, in terms of the support doorman, which is I don't think we saw a gun doorman build, definitely did a great job here for Abrahams.
And final question for you. We see the Doorman, we see the Warden in both of their wins. ZP, how do I stop the Abrahams from locking this in a future draft? Is there a way I can big brain it away? And
I think
20.
Well, I think for me, I do think there's a little bit of a misplay coming in from Leviathan where they had choice of side in both maps and they chose Sapphire, second pick in both of them. That was a mistake. I think first pick is overpowered right now in the meta because if you go first pick, you get either Doorman or you get Billy. And I don't think anything you get in return is worth giving those heroes up right now. So I think if I had to go back and draft, not taking first pick was Leviathan's #1 issue in this game.
Leviathan, hit up Coach ZP before next matchup because we hope this one can go to a game 3. Until then, DDK, it has been one-sided dominance for 4 weeks, maybe 5 in a row. Abrahams laying down the law regardless of who is in the starting lineup.
Yeah, they are. I mean, we had a situation where you could see there's more trades and things looked a little bit more even. But yeah, the pull away from that has been pretty amazing from Abrahams. And obviously getting Hoot onto the roster, it seems like it's worked out quite nicely for them. And there doesn't seem to be too much competition right now as we cap off 2025. So at least we got a definitive story for 2025 that Abrahams ended the year with utter domination.
11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and now 19 is in the books. They only dropped episode 13 in the last 2 months, and it has been a fun ride to watch this squad. ZP, final thoughts on the best team representing EU?
I think Abrahams, they're the team, the beat. They finish out the year strong. But if you think back to how this year began, it began with Buff Enjoyers being the team that beat and the best in the world. And suddenly Aegis Aurora came out of nowhere and knocked them on their butt. So going into the new year, anything can happen. Deadlock, there's big changes coming every week. I mean, half the game changed in the patch 15 minutes before we went live. So I'm just excited to see what comes around for EU in the new year.
All right, we're going to take a look at our final stats and, of course, award our MVP. TDK, was there one clear player above the rest? Was it a team effort? Who do you want to show some love to from our winning squad?
That's a tough one. Sanya Sniper definitely played really, really well in the first game, but man, Together, I want to give it to Together. I don't know if you're with me, ZP, but especially for the performance on the Abrams in the previous map as well. Loved what Together was doing there, and in addition to that, I think his first map play on Shiv was also pretty sublime.
What do you think, ZP?
I gotta go Together. I mean, Together had way too much aura on the Abrams at the beginning. I think you can make a case for Saint too, just about enabling the door escape. But look, Together had to have the movement. He looked ridiculous in the early game, and both games really. A great Shiv play, great Abrams play. You know, the road to victory in Deadlock is often paved by your frontliners, and Together is one of the very best in the business.
He's a thick one. 42,000 souls, 15 kills, 4 deaths, and 14 assists with 50,000 player damage and 15k on the objective. The Abrams monster. Together. I have to give it to his movement though. It wasn't even the damage he was dishing out. This guy surviving, thriving, looks so frustrating to play against. Walk me through some of his best moments, including the Shiv work in game number 1, DDK.
Yeah, the chase downs on Shiv, and just I think, you know, like you're saying, the movement is one of the fun things. Obviously, players at this level are great at movement, but Shiv in particular, especially with the right click that gives you the boost, you can do so much cool movement tech. We saw some great escapes from Together. He just combines every single tool that Shiv has on top of incredible aim to like really maximize damage potential at every given moment. And we'll probably see this legendary escape on Abrams relatively soon here in the highlight package as well, where, you know, again, it's a combination of just using every wall jump, trying to just disrupt your opponent, trying to make them miss, and trying to just find ways to escape, and he's just perfect at it.
I mean, the game sense was ridiculous, and even at areas where you'd think Together, oh, this guy's gonna go down, it's like, no, you got the movement, you got the parry timing, and you're able to leave. But man, oh man, you look at the damage Sanya pumped out in both games of the grand finals. A case was made for Warden as your M1 carry, because again, think about what Sanya was playing in previous night shifts. You know, Sanya is the guy that usually is on things like the Infernus, like the Wraith, and I agree with the read that you put down here of we were overvaluing Wraith. There's better things to pick, and Wraith just got nerfed from the spirit changes on top of it. I think you're looking for a carry here. Putting Sanya on the Warden over something like the Wraith made all the sense in the world, and definitely was very good for Abrahams here in both games today.
I think the Wraith still got it. We just haven't figured it out yet. Chad, I'm with you. In the meantime, EU is done and dusted. We may have an interview with our winner. If not, we got NA around the corner. Before we go on to the next segment, though, I want to give a big shout out to everyone who dropped a sub. Thank you all for supporting the channel. While this is the last episode of the year, do not forget we will be coming at you on Wednesdays. You can check out all of the content over on twitch.tv/Deadlock Night Shift and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Deadlock Night Shift. We've got some great videos up there, and ZP, I know you've been doing some watch party work. Are there more tournaments coming up? Is there another opportunity to watch party soon?
I don't believe there is, but if a tournament comes up out of nowhere, we're definitely going to be watch partying it. You know, the goal here is we love competitive Deadlock. We love glorifying it. We wouldn't be making these tournaments without that love of the game. And look, at this point, we're going to extend that love of the game to other tournaments that come up if they will allow us. You know, in the past, some of the other EU tournaments were very anti-watch party, but, you know, we try to set an example to seem being like, hey, watch party us. And, you know, Deathy, for example, when they ran his tournament, they're like, that's great. Also, you guys can watch party us in turn. So if a tournament will allow, we will happily watch party anything that's out there. It's just good fun, and you want to watch some competitive Deadlock, we'll probably be live.
Yeah, just put viewers on the project, and then like we'll all win, right? DDK, that's the whole concept behind what we're doing.
Yeah, all ships rise in the high tide, so they say.
That guy, he's a wordsmith. We're going to a break. When we come back, it is more from your favorite players around the world. We got EU and NA coming up next. Right now, is the interview ready? Do we got it? Solomon, bring him in. Don't wait on me, brother. Is it the one and only? Saint, welcome to the show. Congratulations on the win tonight. Everyone was wondering after game number 1, what is this guy gonna play? What was it like for you in that final game tonight playing against Leviathan?
I don't know. We draft super good on first map, and for some reason they just give us almost the same draft on the second one, and they think that something is gonna change. I don't know. We were laughing at voice like, what the fuck they are drafting?
Right.
Well, so what surprised me, and you know, you can tell me if this is the right read or not, but I was surprised they're picking a second pick there, because I feel like first pick puts you in a bind where I don't think anyone loves playing against Billy, and people really don't love playing against Doorman. But if you go second pick, you guys get one of them guaranteed.
I think Billy is not that good after patch, because they nerf move speed, they nerf his lifesteal from his first spell, as I remember. And I don't know, for some reason they just choose second, but I think first pick is much better because you just get everything that you want on. Like you can get pocket on second and third, and they just can't pick Kelvin on. And they can't play with Kelvin because of this. I don't know. Like, it's super easy to draft against them.
So is Viper good, or were they trolling you guys?
I think Viper is good, but this hero need to play super aggressive in early mid game, and he need his teammates to play with him. So you can't play with, I don't know, Victor farming whole game and, I don't know, Wraith with Viper, for example. I want to see their draft.
Saint,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the patch notes. Does it affect you? You guys were 5 minutes away from playing game number 1 when the patch notes dropped. So how do you adjust in the middle of a tournament like you did tonight?
I think this patch changed nothing for this tourney because, I don't know, one stamina when you jump from wall, I don't know, it's okay, but it's nothing. This changed that 2 people can stay in pit and do not let Patron die. Like you can't hit Patron when 2 people are staying at him. I think it's big change.
Sorry,
but you need to draft for this. For example, Lash, Victor, some heroes that can contest in close range.
Yeah,
GP, with this being the final episode of 2025, I feel like we should do a little narrative here. Go ahead and ask Saint about the big picture.
Yeah, so Saint, obviously Abrahams, you guys are the team to beat at the end of 2025, and it was kind of a journey for you guys. It was back and forth where you were, fighting tooth and nail with Buff Enjoyers, with 1 win earlier in the year. I guess, as Abrahams leaves as the top team in EU, I was just wondering, what are your thoughts as you leave? What it take to get there, or whatever shout outs you want to give to your team, because you guys, you are the best in Europe, undisputed.
Yeah, I think we did a really big job, a great job in this year because we created this team at June, as I remember, on May. Yeah, it takes so much time to become best team, but in Europe. But it's gonna be much more interesting if we have some opponents that can actually fight with us and make us lose, because we are winning every scrim, we are winning every Deadlock fight night, and it's just sometimes it's getting boring. I don't know how to say it correctly. Like people on voice just we're gonna not troll, like do some stupid shit because they don't care. They know that we are gonna win, and it's good, but I don't know, it's not that interested. Like when we were playing an A tourney, the slam, it was super interested because we're playing with high ping. We can't pick normal heroes, so we need to think and decide how we want to play this tourney. It was super hard because it was super hard, but it was super interested.
We're at that point, everybody. Europe, step your game up. Otherwise, Saint and crew are ready to take on NA with 1,000 ping. Saint, congratulations on the win for the Abrahams. DDK, final thoughts before we let him go.
Yeah, you guys look amazing. I can't wait to see what you have in the next year. Is everyone on the team motivated? So you guys are going to stick together and just keep powering through to be the best next year as well?
I think we will stay together. I don't know, maybe if something bad will not happen, I think we will save this roster and just play next year with this roster.
Awesome.
Saint, last question I have for you is, as we close out 2025, who was the best player on the year?
Best player together, Taz, Dimov, Hood, and Sunny Sniper.
That is a good PR answer, ladies and gentlemen. That is Saint. The Abrahams go out as kings of Europe. We'll catch them in 2026.
Yeah, thank you
Congrats,
guys.
Saint.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome stuff there. The first half of the show is done. We have crowned our EU champions, but DDK, we still have 2 more matches to go. What happens on the other side of the break?
Yeah, we're going to do it all over again for North America. Start off with the Challenger match, into then the Money match. And here are the teams. You know them by now, although you might be curious about what's going on with Kawaii Crew.
ZP, who are they? What's
Well,
happening?
Quiet Crew, they're one of the up-and-coming teams here in North America. Also, some streamers on there, whether it be Ed, whether it be Fred the Finch, who at the very least is shirtless on stream at all points. But also, apparently, it's going to be a little bit wild because supposedly Fred has been up on like some 30-hour stream. He is basically trying to become the North American jam side of doing the 36-hour stream in the playing competitive plays. So he's either going to ascend to a new dimension of consciousness or feed unreal amounts in the NA Challenger match, and you have to tune in to find out which one it's going to be.
That's a sell that I had needed to hear. Thank you, ZP. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the first half. When we come back, it's all about North America. Fred, the shirtless winner, gets wild. Lock in.